guys? The Bench Buddies are back today with another video. Today we'll be doing part 2 to our NFL predictions. We're going to be doing the NFC today. And Ethan, do you want to start it off here as we got to click through all the teams here?
Yeah, we got to skip through. Who's the first team? Cowboys?
Cowboys.
All right, so I got them at 10-7, winning the division, just a game over a Washington football team, because I think Dak's going to have a big year, come back. The offense is going to be moving well. Defense is a little bit improved from last year, so I think as long as Dak doesn't get injured, they'll win 10 games.
I agree. Micah Parsons is going to be possibly Defensive Player Rookie of the Year. He was a pretty solid pick there for Dallas, as their linebackers always get hurt. But this team could make a little run in the playoffs, considering they're going to have to score a lot this year to win games. So you never really know with this Dallas team.
Right. Next is the Eagles. I got them at 5-12, and Jalen Hurts is going to be their MVP. I think he's a little bit better. I think he's a little bit better than what he showed last year, and he showed that he had some potential. So I feel like the Eagles will be a lot better offensively. But I still only got them winning 5 games in that division. It's tough. They got a tough schedule.
I have him at 7-10. That division's gonna be tough. I mean, there's no clear-cut favorite, I would say, as of now. Eagles could make a run. Who knows? It just depends on how Hurts performs. But with the uncertainty there, I chose Devonta Smith as my MVP just because of what he showed in Alabama. He won the Heisman last year, and no matter what his size is, I think he's going to have a big role in Philly this year.
The Washington football team, I got them winning 9 games and just missing out on the wild card. I see you have them in the wild card, so that shows what the rest of the NFC is. I got Chase Young being the MVP. I think he's going to dominate the other offensive lines this year and have a great year.
And then I put Fitzmagic because I think this is the most loaded team that Fitz has been on. At least for wide receiver and tight end wise. They got Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas is a sleeper pick this year and is a tight end and in fantasy as well. So honestly, this Washington team could be maybe even 11-6, even better, just because of who knows how this division is going to go. But right now, I just have them in the wild card.
For the Giants, I got Saquon winning. We both got Saquon winning the MVP. I think as long as he doesn't get injured, he should be the best offensive skill set on that team. We both got him. I got him at 5-12 because I just don't. That Daniel Jones, I don't trust, and they already had like 2 fights in camp. You hear about that?
Yeah, and then because their coach is from the Patriots tree, so immediately after they started running, just like Belichick did, because it was against the Patriots. So both teams pretty much ran immediately after that fight. But I'm just not high on the Giants. They have a tough, this whole NFC East has tough schedules, and they all got to play each other. And I just think the Giants are going to be the team that can't catch a break this year. Healthy Saquon helps, and Kenny Galladay, he's already hurt, and who knows how that's going to go. So I think it's just going to be a rough year for the Giants.
Now we're into the NFC North. You got MVP as Justin Fields. That's a good one. What do you think about that? What's up with that, dude?
Well, I don't think he's going to start the first few weeks in the year. I just don't think they're going to officially say that because they signed Dalton as QB1 in the offseason. And then you go out and draft Fields, who's pretty much looked as good or even better than Dalton has in the preseason and I guess just in OTAs. But I put Fields because I think at the end of the year, he's going to be the team leading this. He's going to be the quarterback leading this team. And I think they're going to have a late surge, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be enough because he's going to go through growing pains. And I mean, he has a good young core of receivers and running backs behind him. So this team could be a playoff team maybe next year. Who knows? But definitely in a few years if Fields is still
especially if Justin Fields can prove that he's going to be the QB1 this year. That's big. That's big for next year. The rebuilding Detroit Lions.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start it off. To all the Lions fans out there this year, the Stafford era had to end sometime, and unfortunately it was this year. But They got Goff back and a few picks, which, I mean, it could work. I don't know. But just this year is not the year where you're going to have to find that out. But Swift is going to be huge this year, I think, for Detroit. He'll have a good second year, and they also have veteran Jamal Williams from Green Bay. So I think those two could be a good little 1-2 punch for the Lions, but they don't really have any receivers. I honestly don't know who any receiver on that team is.
And I also don't know if they have a good – I don't know if they have a good offensive line either, so it's going to be hard. I don't know. DeAndre Swift might – I feel like he'll have a really good year as well, though.
I mean, it's just going to come down to Goff, you know?
Yeah. If Goff can improve from last year, which I think he can for sure. I think he's proved that he's a decent quarterback in the NFL. So
yeah, I mean,
not that bad.
I mean, it's just that Goff's always had weapons around him to improve his performance, and this is like the first time where he just has Hawkinson and Swift. So I guess we're gonna see if Goff really is that. He was the number 1 pick, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I think so. So he'll have to prove that, I guess, this year. So I'll talk about my Packers here. It's been a rough last 2 years going to NFC Championship game and losing, but we have Rodgers at least through this year. I don't know for what the future holds. I think he's personally going to stay for a long time. But we both have him at 12-5. We both have him as team MVPs, and I think the Packers could make a run this year. The defense, they've all played together. They have good chemistry. It's pretty much the same defense with a few added corners because they needed some corner help. But this team could make a run, potentially get past that NFC Championship game, and maybe win a Super Bowl this year. Might as well in Rodgers last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. That offense is explosive, and they're getting a better defense this year. So I could see him going past the NFC Championship game. You never know.
I saw a stat where Rodgers, he has lost like all the playoff games he's lost. He's either 1, not got the ball back in overtime, so he doesn't have a chance to win, or 2, the defense gives up like 30 or more when they lose.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was like 45 or something like that.
So then you got the Vikings here. I don't know why it's not loading. I clicked it. There we go.
I got them. I think highly of the Vikings this year. I got them going at 10-7 with Dalvin Cook being their MVP. I think Dalvin's going to have another big year. Also, Justin Jefferson's going to have a big year. You got him as your MVP. Justin Jefferson's going to be really good this year.
Yeah, I see that you have him at 10-7, but I don't see a wild card or anything by him. So obviously, your NFC must be loaded this year if they're 10-7 and not making the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So
all right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, I'll talk about these guys wearing the shirt down here in Florida. So I'm going bold prediction of 15-2. I think they're just going to absolutely dominate this year. Not like last year until the postseason, where in the regular season they kind of had a few what does Tom Brady do? Like they didn't really figure it out until halfway through the season. So I think it's the same team. They're running it back. I think 15-2 is pretty fair estimate. You saw what they did in the Super Bowl to Mahomes, and that's the greatest quarterback in the league talent-wise right now. So we both have Brady as MVP because, you know, he's the ageless wonder. You have him win the division as well if you want to talk about them.
Yeah, I have him at 13-4 because just the only reason is because it's hard to predict. Like, I don't feel like I should predict 15 wins because you never know. I feel like he fluctuate. They could win 13. They could also win 15. I could definitely see them winning 15. I just don't know if I can predict it right. You know what I mean? It's 13-4. That's what I got. I think I predicted the Chiefs at 15-2, but I think they're loaded this year. So.
All right. So we got the Falcons here. Both have them at 3-14. And then I have the rookie tight end, Kyle Pitts, as my MVP, and you have Matt Ryan, Matty Ice. This team really doesn't have a lot this year. I mean, you trade away Julio. Running back situation, who knows? I mean, you might Mike Davis, who could be a one-year wonder. Just lots of questions going into this team this year, and it's just going to be a real rebuild.
Yeah, and their defense is shaky as well. So I got them at 3-14. I think Matt Ryan's going to have a good year. I think he's going to get the MVP. Kyle Pitts will have a really good year, in my opinion. Just Matt Ryan's going to be really good. So got the Panthers now. I got them at 8-9, and just missing on that 500 record. They just lost. It could have been 9-8, but I got Sam Darnold as my MVP because I think he'll have a really good year. Finally getting some offensive weapons. So yeah, I think he'll be really good.
And then I have him at 6-11. I also agree with you on Sam Darnold. I don't think I think this is going to be one of those teams where the record really doesn't define how good this team is. Um, I think with Robbie Anderson, he could potentially be a breakout star this year. They just re-signed him. Obviously, you still have CMC. Like, I know, like, whoa, why didn't you put CMC as team MVP? Well, I think Darnold's going to have a breakout year and show, like, it wasn't just him. It was the Jets organization what made him not be the
Yeah,
quarterback they
I
wanted
agree.
him to be. And I think Matt Rule is a great coach coming from Baylor. Last year, it was kind of a first year, so I think this year it'll be a little better than last year. But unfortunately, they're in a kind of tough division. But I don't know, really not really, I guess.
Yeah, not
But
really. Not a really tough division, but
I
tough
mean, I guess
NFC.
because you have Tampa and then the NFC doesn't help.
The whole NFC West is loaded, so it's just hard to give them those wins. The next team is the Saints. I got them going at 7-10, and Jameis is gonna have a big year. He looked good in that preseason game against Jacksonville, and Marquez Callaway could be a pickup, a sleeper pickup. I know Quinny, you picked him up in our league, but like
Yeah, for
everyone,
sure.
I think he's gonna be good this year, especially if Michael Thomas doesn't play too much.
Right. I have them 8-9, one game above you. Winston still my MVP. Just got named starter today, actually. Um,
Yep.
I
Yep,
mean, there's
for
not really
sure.
much to say about this team because Breeze is gone. So I mean, it's the who's filling in for Breeze after almost 15 years. Um, they still
I
got
think they're gonna be more
Kamara.
explosive this year too because of
I think
Jameis.
they will be um, more willing to risk it rather than last year where Breeze was more of a conservative, like
Yeah.
just get the yards, I would say. Because, Winston was 30 for 30, 30 TDs, 30 picks. But with
Yeah.
Sean Payton as the coach, I don't think that'll happen. I think Winston will be around the 40, 15, 20 era. So a pick a game isn't bad for him. But that's it for the Saints. And then we'll move to that NFC West that you were
That
talking about.
loaded NFC West. You got them going in the wild card. You got them as your last wild card team. 10 and
Yeah,
7.
I'm actually high on the Cardinals this year. I think Murray, if he didn't get hurt last year, I think this team would have made the playoffs. That's my opinion. But he hurt his throwing shoulder, and he just wasn't the same Murray last year. I mean, he still obviously had big games, but you could just tell he was in pain when a few things happened. So I think this year he's recovered. The running game with Connor and Chase Edmonds, it'll be a little better than last year with just Kenyon Drake. And then obviously you have D-Hop. And I guess reports from camp or AJ Green's looking like he was in his prime with Andy Dalton. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not too into that. But I mean, that's a big weapon
It's a
for
good sign,
Kyler.
though.
And a rookie that not a lot of people know about is Rondell Moore, wide receiver from Purdue.
From
I think
Purdue,
he
yeah.
is going to be a huge, huge pickup guy, like in fantasy, in over the next 8 weeks. I would say. He's a complete speed guy, absolute demon in college. And I just think this Cardinals team and they have JJ Watt now too. Can't forget about that.
Yeah, you can't
So
forget about that. That's a big
this
pickup.
this team could be a surprise team in the playoffs and possibly make a run just because they have a veteran presence now on both sides of the ball, and they have some young guys that aren't afraid to ball out and go for it.
Yep, I agree. I got them at 8 and 9 because that NFC West is just really loaded. I feel like they're gonna lose some close games. I feel like they're gonna be better than 8 and 9, but they're gonna lose those close games to those
Mm-hmm.
divisional teams, and it's gonna end up going under 500. All right, so the Los Angeles Rams. I got them going. We both got them going 11-6, and winning the wild card. I got MVP is Aaron Donald because he's the best defensive he's the best defensive player in all of football, in my opinion. So you got to name him the MVP. And you got Stafford though.
I got Stafford, same record as you though, both wild card teams. I think Stafford finally with weapons, not in Detroit, change the scenery, potential. I'm saying right now, put it down. Top 3 MVP voting at the end of the year.
Okay.
I think Stafford has always been a great quarterback, but he's been in Detroit where Rodgers has, and then Kirk Cousins a few years. So he really hasn't got the exposure, I would say. But now he's in LA, big city, lots of weapons. always on TV. I
Yeah.
think Stafford's
So
finally going to make his case for a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the league. I always think he has been, but people are like, whoa, like he doesn't do anything. But so yeah, that's what I'm going for the Rams, and I think they're going to be a wild card team.
okay, I agree. That's a good take right there. I got 10-7. I got the Seahawks going 10-7, making the wild card as well. Russell Wilson's going to have a big year, along with their DK Metcalf, and that offense is pretty good. And with Jamal Adams, they just re-signed him or they extended his contract. So I feel like the Seahawks will be up there, and Russell Wilson won't be bad at the end of the season this year, guys. He'll be good. MVP.
I have them winning the division. Toughest division in all football. I just have Seattle coming out on top just because solely the Seahawks somehow find a way to do it every year. Like it's hard to watch on TV. You're like, oh, Seattle wins again, like somehow, like in a miraculous end of game, whatever. Like it's like a team that like you want to root for, but you're like, oh, it seems like they're always here. Like it seems like when Patriots would always be in the Super Bowl, Seahawks are always, oh, they always did it again, something like that. So I just think the experience of the team and everything, I guess, involved with Seattle, I just think they're going to win the division.
All right, now for the last team, I obviously didn't have any division winners, so I'm picking the Niners as my division winner for the NFC West. I got them going 11-6, just above the other teams in this division. I got George Kittle having a great year, along with whoever the quarterback is. Jimmy G will start the year, but if he gets hurt, you never know. You can see Trey Lance balling out there. I'm high on Trey Lance because he's got that athletic ability that a lot of guys don't have. So. And their defense is just loaded. Their defensive line's loaded. So I'm very high on them, and I think they'll win this division.
Then obviously I'm at the other end of the spectrum here. I'm going 6-11. I think the quarterback carousel is going to be too confusing for themselves. Not sure start Lance, Garoppolo. Who knows? They could make a trade middle of the year for getting rid of Garoppolo. I don't know. But I just don't think they're a team that's going to put it all together this year. I think this is a disappointment team. I wanted to say they were going to be 9-8, 10-7 around there. But I just think that with the being in the toughest division, there has to be one team out of this division, that has a disappointing year. And unfortunately for me, it was the 49ers this year.
All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. In our next video, we're going to be making our playoff predictions, including our Super Bowl winners. Until next time, Bench Buddies are out.